Acting Captain's Log, Commander Israel Prax, Stardate 53911.4. I can't say the death of Captain Zavos has been easy on the crew. While we mourn his loss of the captain, we endeavor on. A short while ago, we rendezvoused with the Potomac and transferred over the Terra Nova prisoners along with their vessel. With any luck, this business with them will be done and with soon. And hopefully we can get back to what we do best, exploring. Well, we will be arriving at Deep Space Nine shortly. Hopefully, this will be a chance for the crew to get some R&R before our next assignment. There has been no word as of yet who will be replacing the captain, but whoever our new captain will be, they'll be fortunate to have a crew such as ours. End log.
All right, so as the log stated, you guys should be arriving at Deep Space Nine, I don't know, within the hour or so. So take this opportunity for any free role play you guys would like to do aboard the ship.
Have DeGrasse and I finally cracked the Terra Nova computer?
It is proving to be more difficult than you anticipated.
Damn.
However, it has been slow but steady.
I guess I'll get us kicked off. So DeGrasse is going to be a little frustrated with being able to make, or not being able to make quicker progress on decoding that. He's going to turn to Casey and say, Casey, great thinking getting this off the ship, but I don't know if we're ever actually going to be able to crack this thing.
Yeah, that is a good point. We might need to delegate this to some junior crew member.
That sounds like an amazing idea.
Can we just say that it's like delegated to our like junior department staff, so we don't have to do this the whole session?
It's probably going to take you a few sessions, and probably next week I'll tell you.
All right, so it's like a side project.
Exactly.
Cool.
Game, has there been any like word from like an admiral or anything like that for what we're gonna be doing at DS9?
Not as of yet.
So, Commander.
However, there is a admiral that would like a scene with you.
Okay.
But we could do that in a bit later if you wanted to do some.
It was gonna be chit chat. That was about it. But
she looks over at the acting captain. She says, "Acting captain."
Yes, Commander.
Kind of look. You were going to say something.
Oh, I was just. So, what exactly do you do at Starfleet?
She raises her eyebrow a little bit. Mostly command. I lead on the ground, though I am well versed in the workings of a ship and commanding a bridge.
I see. I mean, most of your kind of little research on you, it seems like most of your record is a little bit, Blackbard. You're part of Starfleet Intelligence, I presume.
No, I've worked with them. And having worked with them means that my parts of my file are sealed, which is the logical path. Currently, I was investigating Terra Nova, which we've now have safely in our brig, though I haven't been able to find anything else useful out of them. But yes, that would explain the gap in my record.
I see. Well, no worry, but your record is outstanding for the most part.
Naturally. Are you aware of our orders when we reach DS9?
I have not personally been briefed on them yet. Assuming we'll get them when we arrive.
She nods.
Well, until then, I think I'm going to retire to the ready room and finish up on some paperwork. If you don't mind, the bridge is yours.
Yes, sir. Gets out of her seat. She sits in the captain's chair.
Commander, we are receiving a hail from... Wait 1 second. Admiral Ney. Ney or Ney?
Nia.
Nia? Sorry.
It's a weird spelling.
Commander, we're receiving a hail from Admiral Ney.
She nods. She taps her comm badge. Commander Saru to Acting Captain Prax. We're being held by an admiral. Would you like it in your ready room?
Yes, please.
She looks over. Please, to her ready room.
Prax answer it, or she answers it.
And on your little computer terminal is a female betazoid sporting the rank of Rear Admiral. Commander Prax, how are you?
I'm well, all considering recent events.
How is the crew holding up with the passing of the captain?
I would say their morale is a little down. It is rather recent, especially since this ship was just commissioned and all.
Well, Captain, I am contacting you to officially inform you that you will be taking control of the Monarch until further notice as acting captain.
Understood.
I understand that you are en route to Deep Space Nine. Am I correct?
That is correct. That was the last orders given by Captain Zavos.
Very good. Why don't you take this opportunity to allow your crew some rest and relaxation?
Understood. We'll be getting further orders within the coming days.
Yes, we're working on the orders for the 10th Fleet. As it stands, you're not needed in sector for a few days still. This might be the only opportunity you get.
I say so. The Monarch is going to be officially assigned to the 10th Fleet.
That is correct, Captain.
Am I getting a field promotion to captain until a new captain is assigned to the Monarch? Or am I still holding the rank of commander?
As of right now, you will receive a field commission as.
Understood.
Oh, I had a line here. What was it? Consider this your first full test of independent command, Captain. If you impress me, this might become a permanent post.
Understood. I'll try not to let you down.
Very good. I will keep in touch. In a few days, I would like to have a tour of all of the ships that have fallen under my command. Since your ship is the closest, I think I will visit the Monarch first. I'll be in touch with rendezvous coordinates for that.
Yes, Admiral. Is there anything else?
That is it, Captain. I'll be
I
in
look forward to
touch.
seeing you, Admiral.
Very good. Enjoy Deep Space Nine. Admiral Nia. And the screen goes dark.
She pushes a button on her Praxton Bridge.
Go ahead.
Inform the crew that when we arrive at DS9, there'll be a short-term shore leave granted to all individuals until we are getting further orders.
Yes, acting captain. I'll let department heads know.
And when you're finished, can I see you in my ready room?
I'll be there presently.
Do we still not have door chime? Still no door chime. Sorry. But we can door swoosh.
Commander?
Mini Commander. She comes in, she stands about here, she places her hands at the small of her back and she stands at attention.
I have been given a field promotion to captain. I will be currently in charge of this vessel until until Starfleet is satisfied with their placement of me as the commanding officer of this ship. I don't know what Starfleet has in mind for your role for the future, but I could use a XO.
I would be more than happy to serve as your XO. Congratulations, Captain.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I'll put in the proper paperwork for you.
Thank you, Captain. As your XO, can I make a recommendation?
Certainly.
As this is a field promotion, they will be looking at you very closely. I would suggest that you lean upon me as heavily as you need to. Any mistakes that need to be made should be made through me. If you're to retain your captaincy here, which I'm sure you'll be able to do, we should work as a team, she says.
Thank you for the insight, but I do plan on leaning on everybody. It's how I've always operated. I believe the ship functions better as a team rather than as a one-man or one-woman operation.
That's reassuring to hear, Captain.
Is there anything else?
There's nothing new happening. The bridge is quiet. We're on course.
Well, just pass along the notification that R&R has been granted for the crew.
Yes, Captain. Another recommendation, if you would.
Of course.
It would be logical for you to announce your captaincy to the crew. They would perhaps find it reassuring after losing their last captain.
I will make that declaration here shortly.
She nods.
If that is all, you're dismissed.
Captain. She kind of turns on her heel and out she strolls.
Yeah, Prax is just gonna wait a little bit at a ready room. So if there's any other role play before we arrive at DS9, you guys are more than welcome to do that.
That or they might be waiting for DS9 shenanigans.
Cool, cool. You could always add
Yeah.
a cricket's noise to our plethora of sounds.
I was gonna drink whiskey at DS9.
Nice.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say I was going to drink whiskey on the bridge.
Well, I
Well,
figured
you
that's
can
probably
sneak a few sips out of your flask, I guess.
got some Romulan ale hidden here.
Ooh.
Yeah, interesting.
All right. If there's nothing else, we could probably fast forward.
I was gonna come back on the bridge, I guess, and then. But
Perfect.
token resize is too big.
You don't want to be the big token in campus.
No, well, I make them bigger, just for. So, but anyway, Commander.
Captain.
She presses a button on her chair for to open channel to the rest of the ship. I know the last few days have not been easy for most of the crew. I've just been informed by order of Admiral Ney, or Nah. Yeah, I can't say it now.
Nia.
By Admiral Nia. I have been granted the field promotion of captain, and I'll be commanding the Monarch until further notice. I know with Captain Zavos passing hasn't been easy on the crew, and I know we just recently launched. These coming days, I don't expect everyone to get everything right. I expect mistakes, but I expect everyone to their job with the most precision and diligence that you've shown the last few days. And it's together we will strive forward. And that is all. She closes the channel.
Captain.
Thank you, Lieutenant. And have you made any progress on those data files from the Terra Nova vessel?
Negative. It's looking worse than we thought. This will take several days at best to crack into. We're going to leave this as a sort of side project, and we're going to assign members of the security and science departments to work on this while we continue with our department head duty.
Very well. I'm sure the commander here has informed all of you that there'll be a bit of R&R while we're at DS9. So try not to work too hard. And Helm, what's our ETA to DS9?
Looks like we are about ready to drop out of warp, sir.
Understood. Ops, open a channel to DS9.
Channel
Get
open.
us clearance for get us clearance for docking procedures. If you could, Ops.
Aye, Captain. Captain Ops has cleared us for docking at upper pylon 3.
Helm, maneuver us within position.
Aye, Captain. And after a few minutes, the ship docks with the.
Gentlemen and ladies, I trust you understand not to find yourself in any speculative trouble while here on DS9. I don't think I need to warn you about the Ferengi that are on the station.
I can still hear. Everything's fine to me.
Oh, I heard that clearly.
Cool.
Yeah, I can hear.
Wait,
Did
who was
anybody
having?
hear what I said?
There we go.
heard
I can
it.
hear you now. It was kind of roboting out, so I just reconnected a couple of times.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
He was three
I guess
Migoing.
I'll just state it as like, gentlemen and ladies, I expect I don't need to inform you about the Ferengi on the station, and expect you all to act accordingly as Starfleet officers.
I'm sure the
Yes,
crew,
sir.
especially the command staff, will conduct themselves in a professional manner, she says, and she glances around the bridge with a critical eye.
DeGrasse is going to clear his throat just once as she's glancing around.
Captain, if you would like to disembark, I can handle the crew rotations and making sure people are on and off the ship. I will spend some time on DS9, obviously, but I feel I would be remiss if I didn't give you R&R time as well. And she looks over at Pratt.
I appreciate the sentiment, but I'll need to handle probably a few duty shifts here before taking some R&R myself.
That's logical, Captain.
So yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, the commander, once everyone else is doing their disembarkment and everything's kind of running as it should be doing, she leaves the bridge, with permission, obviously. She goes to the replicator. She replicates herself a smart-looking kind of like casual suit and a somewhat ornate-looking hat. It's quite widely brimmed. It's black. It has like a green, strange feather in it. She changes out flats into heels, and she disembarks onto DS9.
Anyone else preparing for their show release?
I'll just say that I got prepared and went ahead and disembarked for DS9 as well.
Casey will also
plans to head to the
disembark,
bar.
also in search of a drink.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and open up this.
So Omox comes into the bar and orders a Aldebaran whiskey.
And Quark walks up to you. So, I'm assuming you don't have any money. How are you paying? As he sets the bottle down in front of you.
And I put it on a tab.
And Quark grabs one of his little data pads with a thumb. Of course, we can start a line of credit for you. And he's
Great.
waiting for your thumbprint.
Alright, so I'll provide, first I'll ask what the damage is going to be. What's the cost of one drink?
One slip of gold. But surely you'd like more money to enjoy the rest of our entertainment options.
I'll probably stick to drinking, but I'll probably have more than one drink, so I'll go ahead and swipe my finger.
Shall I put you down for, let's say, 5 bars of gold press left?
Sure.
Bars. I love it.
He taps a couple buttons on his pad and holds it out. Thumb here, please.
Here's a slip for your drink at bars.
And I'll, confused and somewhat puzzled, but, So do I actually have I already swiped or?
So it's a little pad that it's rather slender, and at the end of it, there's like a place to put your thumb, and
Okay.
that's the same as signing the contract, essentially.
All right. So if I wanted, so like, how much is actually 5 bars?
I think
In
it's 100.
relativity.
I think it's 100 strips, and I think 10 strips is a credit, right? And a credit would be like a buck, like $1 probably.
So there's
You're what?
there's slips, strips, and bars, and then there's something above bars, but I don't remember.
Bricks. I
That's
think.
it, bricks.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to not do that.
You want your drink, don't you?
Yeah, not that badly.
What's to worry about? It's only a 20% interest.
Yeah, I think in that case I'll just stick to people watching or being watching.
If you say so, the offer will be here when you change your.
Thanks.
Do we get like a spending stipend? Because I don't know. It's been discussed a lot that possibly the like Starfleet people on DS9 had a spending stipend because the other cultures on the station used.
Might be something to ask your superiors.
Phone it.
In that case, before I depart the ship, I will ask Commander Tsuru. Excuse me, Commander. Do we have a spending stipend for the vendors on the station?
She
Saru
looks
was the.
over, and she says, "How much is he charging you?"
Well, I'm still on the ship, so
Hmm.
I don't. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the prices yet.
I was about to say Saru left like as soon as the ship died.
No,
Yeah, she's
I'm losing
she's
track here.
gone.
All right, so
You
we're
could
on
calm
the
her, I
station.
guess.
Yeah,
You can still have a
call
badge
her.
on her. Okay. She says, "I imagine there's a well, there's your own personal finances, obviously. Though, if you were looking for the ship to finance your R&R, I imagine it could be arranged. After all, I imagine the crew have things to think about losing a captain. Very well. Let's say a modest allowance. And you can put it on a tab and use the name of the ship for the tab. Let me reiterate for you, modest.
Understood, Commander. We'll keep it modest.
Very good.
There, I dropped what I know about platinum and credits. 100 credits equal 1,000. 100 slips equal 1,000 credits, which is like, I don't know. A credit's like a strip is like 10 credits basically. So picture like a strip like $10 roughly. Where slip is like 10 credits. A drink would cost you like a slip or something.
It depends on where you look, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying to be
getting my
helpful. Sorry.
info from, yeah, I was getting my info from Memory Alpha, so on it, because they did a breakdown too on there.
The commander pulls her pad out. She accesses her command codes. She sets up a tab that's an account based upon the ship's name, the Monarch. And then she has it give her a real-time record of what everyone is spending. Because she's nosy.
This is good. I like this.
Perfect.
Perfect. One strip. One strip is I think it coincides. Yeah, it coincides at mine, I think.
And then she'll head into the bar, I think. Bar fest.
And of course, you're met by Quark.
Takes a seat at the bar and she looks over at Quark.
What's a pretty thing like you doing in a place like this?
She raises a drink. Logic would dictate I'm here for a drink.
I think I got just the thing for you. He grabs a special bottle off of the top shelf and pours it for you.
She has a look at this drink. What does it look like?
It's a blue liquid.
She picks up the glass and she takes a sniff. What is it? She says, looking over at him.
Now you got to make me make up an alcohol name.
Yeah.
Just throw an alien name in front of it.
So
I know, right?
Ryzen
Romulan
Moon
ale.
Chaser or something.
Yeah.
Romulan ale.
Yeah,
How'd you
an
do that?
Orion powder keg or
Romulan ale is blue.
It is. Actually, it is. I just looked it up. That is
Just
the
saying,
finest
hush, hush.
Romulan ale.
The finest, she says. She lifts it to her lips and she takes a drink. Is it the finest Romulan ale she's drank?
How much
Glenn.
Romulan ale have you drank?
A fair amount. A fair amount.
I'll glance over when I hear this if I'm in fact there. I did put a token, but
I'll tell you what. How about a opposed presence command roll? If you win,
Mhm.
it is not.
Okay, I like that. Do this. Presence command.
It's pretty good, in your opinion.
And she looks over at the Ferengi. She raises an eyebrow and says, "This is sufficient."
Now tell me, why is there a huge starship docked to Deep Space Nine?
We're here for a little bit of rest and relaxation.
And of course, his ears perk up at the sound. You will do well to tell him about my humble little establishment, won't you? As he pours you another drink.
And she watches him pour the drink. She says, "Logically, I could make that recommendation if I knew the full extent of the services you provide." And she lifts the drink to her lips and she drinks a fair amount of it in one go. Like she's done it before.
Quark is starting to become impressed with you. I have every type of entertainment imaginable. You like drink? I have it. You like food? We have the finest in the sector. You like gambling? And he just points to his table. If you're looking for something a little bit more exotic, you might want to try one of our hollows.
I'm beginning to become more inclined to recommend you to my sizable crew.
Now, if there's anything I can do for you personally, as he starts rubbing his ear. Just let me know.
I'm enjoying this drink. Perhaps you have a little more.
For you, he sets the bottle right in front of you. This is what's on the house.
Ah. She grins and she pours it into her little glass. And she says, "Rule of acquisition number 2." And she raises her glass to him. And she takes a sip of the ale.
And he just says, I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
I have decided to recommend your establishment to my ship. In doing so, I estimate your profits will rise. I've been instrumental in this. Perhaps a very small discount for my crew who will be using a single account with which to purchase everything would be agreeable to someone of your business acumen.
I am suddenly reminded of the 9th rule of acquisition. Opportunity plus instinct equals profit.
A logical assumption. Do we have a deal? She says.
And Quirk kind of touches his right ear. I think we have a deal.
She sort of raises her glass again, like in a little toast to him. She takes another sizable sip of the ale. And on her pad, she keys in a message to anyone who's using the ship's now tab that there is indeed a discount and that they can get it from Quark. And she leans back in the chair a little bit, enjoying her bottle of drink that she's acquired.
And Quirk will go back to working the bar, talking with a few subordinates as he goes.
The grass is going to hear the commander's communication and disembark the ship and make his way double time to the bar.
Well, feel free to put your tokens in the bar if you guys wanted to go somewhere else.
Cool. Can you size this up a little bit? Sweet. Does she have that pinkish hat on?
Mm-hmm.
I will look at her and her hat. Probably overly looking.
Kind of glances over at you as she's enjoying her drink.
I raise my little pale white hand and kind of like acknowledge her like hi. And just kind of look back down at my drink. Which seems to be a little shot glass with a green fluid in it. It seems to have something around the top. Like the glass has been glazed with something at the top of it, and it's a shot glass in size, and there's a spoon sitting inside of it.
She kind of looks at this bizarre-looking drink. So she's studying it.
She seems to play with the little shot glass with this spoon, kind of as if it's like pudding inside of a shot glass. It seems to be carving out some of the green sludge that's inside of the glass. Meticulously, she does that, and then she puts a little bit into her mouth. Puts the spoon back into the. She seems to get kind of a bitter face when she tastes it, as well. But not, like a gross face, but kind of just a bitter face. Purses her lips a bit, then she glances around the room. Her eyes catch your glance for only a split second. She looks around, leaning outward towards the rest of Quark's bar. She's wearing a black turtleneck it complements her shape very, very well, and kind of one of these gray librarian or psychologist kind of skirts that comes down to her knees. It's gray and kind of plaidish. I'll provide a photo in Discord. And she sits patiently looking at the crowd of people. How busy is it in there, Ed?
It's about midday, so it's before the rush. So there's probably just a few Starfleet officers from the ship. Morn, of course. Few patrons that you don't recognize.
Okay. What percentage of people in there like Starfleet?
About 75%. Mostly from the ship.
I watched the young man walk in with his heels. No, the sound in the background. I'll take a glance at the guy that kind of comes in and sits between me and the Romulan or Vulcan or whatever she might be.
So the grass is going to notice the look and just kind of give her a once over and begin patiently, or rather impatiently, tapping his feet, waiting for that discounted drink.
And one of the other bartenders comes over and asks what you...
What's your hardest spirit?
I think we got something that could tickle your fancy. And he pours a brown liquid.
Do I recognize it?
Let me take a look at your stat.
Okay.
What's your character name?
What's that?
What's your character name? Oh, here it is. Never.
Duras. Yeah.
I'm still trying to learn voices to.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Dai glances over at him as he's ordering his drink. At that open invite to have the bartender bring him something of mystery, she finds that fascinating and brave, actually.
Roll me an insight. Let's see, what else do I want to roll with it? Let's go insight medicine.
I am not going to know what the hell this is. Okay. Ooh, not bad.
I will call it Tarkalian whiskey.
Do I know how strong this whiskey is?
You've heard of it.
Okay. So I'm going to pick the glass up, turn it around a little bit, kind of get a glimpse of it. and just knock it back all in one gulp. Set the glass down on the bar.
Roll me a fitness medicine check. We'll make this a difficulty 2.
All right.
Dia just smiles at him.
And I'll say you guys have one moment
Awesome.
because I didn't give you guys a difficulty in that.
Wouldn't suppose my survival focus.
It sure
might apply
would.
here.
Sure would.
Really? Okay.
Nice.
Sounds good.
I can survive this. He just grunts a little bit as he's drinking.
Ooh.
You get this very strong and bitter aftertaste. And you start to feel a little lightheaded.
So I'm going to rock back on my heels a little bit. I'm going to try to stay upright. Obviously trying to look good in front of my two definitely officers that I would want to impress. And I'm going to try to keep standing and try to act like there's nothing wrong. Even though clearly my face is showing there's something wrong.
As he keeps cool, Dia looks at him. She says, "Well done, Lieutenant. Well done." Tarkalian whiskey, she says.
Yes. Oh, it was quite tasty. I
I
would recommend you have some.
No, she says, I'm not really partial to Tarkalian mule drink.
Tarkalian mule what?
That's what they get it from, is from Tarkalian mules. They're, she smiles and then she looks back at drink. It's no big... You know what? Forget I even mentioned it.
Well, as the ship's science officer, I have to say I'm very curious about what part of the mule they get this from. As he kind of picks up the glass and looks at the little bit of brown liquid at the bottom of it that's still
Saru
left.
kind of leans in a little bit closer listening to this.
The scrotum.
DeGrasse is going to straighten up a little. He's
But I hear it raises
nod.
testosterone. She says in males, actually. A bit of an aphrodisiac, I guess.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Commander. And at this, DeGrasse is going to coolly and calmly walk towards the door. And as soon as he hits the door, he is going to take off running down the hall to get to the nearest restroom.
And I will inform you that your walk is not in a straight line.
Does he have to roll like a fitness security roll or knock someone down?
Oh, please let me do that.
He runs into the captain or somebody.
We could if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go difficulty 2, complication 2.
Okay.
Well done, man.
So on the way out, you do knock into a few people. You cause them to drop their drinks, become annoyed. You're kind of pushed toward the door and out. And as you're pushed toward the door, you'll take 3 stress damage.
Ooh.
And trip on the door on the way out.
That is not even going to slow DeGrasse down. At this point, he is not worried about looking cool. He is just going to crawl his way and then stand up and go. Start jogging.
I'll kind of put a hand out like I'm going to go help him, but then he kind of keeps moving. I'm like, seeing him kind of wipe out a little bit.
Trills, she says. Pulls out another shot of her drink.
She says, you took the safe drink. She says, rum and then ale. She looks over.
Oh, is that what it is? She says. She holds it up and kind of looks at it.
I don't know. She says, you're Rianzu? She says.
No, Vulcan.
She looks a little surprised for a second.
Takes a drink.
Oh. And she kind of looks back down at her drink, her Gorn mud, as she puts the spoon back in it and scoops out a little bit of the gooey kind of green stuff that's in there, and she basically takes it off the end of her spoon. After she does that, she kind of, Vulcan? She says, really? She says,
Yes.
I'm Webkey. She puts her hand out.
Saru, she says. And she offers her hand.
I'll be the new counselor on the USS Monarch.
Ah, she says.
Betazoid, she says.
I'll be your commanding officer.
Well, a pleasure to meet one of the fellow senior staff.
Naturally. She pours some of her drink into a little glass and she pushes it across the table to the counselor.
She will come in closer. As it figures that's a cue to kind of get closer and take the drink. She will raise the glass of whatever it is, the half glass or whatever you poured her, as a compliments to her to kind of like drink with her and raise the glass and toast with her.
She pours herself a full measure of the drink. She raises it.
She nods her head quickly.
He downs hers in one.
She'll look at the drink and she'll drink some of it. We didn't toast, she says, I guess to our wives and mistresses. Shall they never meet? She looks over.
She pauses for a moment at that and says, yes.
It's
And
an
she-
old human toast for Navy vessels.
Ah. Then I join you in that.
She turns and looks towards the door as a couple other people come walking in, some operations staff.
And right as you look toward the door, the power on the entire promenade goes out. And just a faint glow of emergency lighting is all that is lit.
Saru kind of glances around a couple of times.
I'm going to feel the emotions in the room to see if anything's out of sorts.
You kind of just feel, people like basically like curious about what's going on.
Okay.
And so
I
that-
just see. I was just going to see if anybody's determined or anything. That's usually people are kind of surprised when the lights go off. Maybe somebody is like, not feeling that determined and like obviously up to no good. Okay, cool.
Was this like just after I walked in? Or like,
Pretty much.
Casey says, I haven't even gotten my drink yet.
Is it almost pitch black in there?
Basically, there's just like a few emergency lights. But as far as you guys can tell from the bar, the entire promenade is out of power.
Sorry, Casey.
I've got nothing.
She says, "Gentlemen, come in. She says, join us at the bar."
Drew places her pad down on the bar and she clicks it to display a white screen, so a white light kind of comes out of it. It's not much, but it's better than darkness.
Or not. She looks over at the gentleman.
Drew
Would
looks
we
over.
know where emergency equipment might be located, like flashlights and stuff? I mean, I don't know if it's standardized on Federations, because that's what Casey would probably be looking.
Sorry, what was that, Casey? I didn't catch it.
Would we know where emergency equipment is located, like flashlights and tricorders and stuff? Is it standard for Federations?
Well, you guys wouldn't know, but you still have your tricorders and equipment. But you wouldn't know where it was stored on the station, because obviously you're here on a visit.
Right. In that case, I think Casey's gonna head towards station security.
Now I have to remember where the office was. I think it's over here. And you get to station security.
All right. I'll enter and see whoever the officer on duty.
And it's a older looking lieutenant. He's clearly he clearly looks. Yes. What can I help you with?
A better question is, what can I help you with, Lieutenant? I'm Chief of Security on the Monarch, and I just noticed the power goes out. Do we have any idea what's...
That's just on a list of other things going wrong on this station.
Are these technical problems or security problems?
Well, I don't know what's going on with the power. We dispatched an engineering team to try to deal with that, but we've had a series of break-ins recently in some cargo bays on the outer.
Break-ins? That's hard to pull off on a station.
Well, on a station this size with as much traffic that comes through in here, sometimes things slip through the cracks.
Well, Lieutenant, consider me at your full disposal. I am here on shore leave, but to be completely honest, I haven't got that much to...
Well, Lieutenant, what did you say your name was?
Sorry, Lieutenant Casey, Chief of Security on the USS Monarch.
Well, Lieutenant Casey, if you wouldn't mind checking out that break-in. As far as we can tell, it was reported from Cargo Bay D. It's on the outer.
Cargo Bay D, understood. And if I could collect a phaser, that might be helpful.
And he reaches under his desk and throws you one. Just make sure that gets back to me.
Don't worry, Lieutenant.
Good hunting.
Thank you. And Casey will head towards the outer...
All right, we'll get back to you in a second. Was there anything else anybody wanted to do?
Yeah, I feel kind of bad, so I'm gonna go check up on on the young lieutenant who came and got a drink. But then I'll stop. I'll realize that there's dark, and I'll stop at the door and then come back and sit down. Like, it's dark. I don't want to go out there. Probably not a good idea.
And probably at this point, there's probably a few security teams with tricorders trying to locate the problem. And anybody else want to do anything?
I'm just not sure that my character would know much about like any engineering or anything on there yet. It would be helpful.
I will look over at the Gross and say, "Ever had a Tarkarian whiskey?" She smiles at him.
DeGrasse is going to turn and say, "Yeah, I think I'm a little done with whiskeys for the time being."
Perhaps you'd like one of these. And Giroux pours out a measure of the blue liquid and offers it to him.
DeGrasse will gingerly take it. Look
It's dry,
at it.
he says.
Ah, well, thank you, Commander. And how much is there in the cup?
It's full.
Okay. DeGrasse is going to take a very large swig off this drink that I'm assuming he doesn't recognize. Just what I needed, Commander. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Ed. Were you going to say something?
Nope.
And DeGrasse is going to mosey on up to the bar and sit down in the chair and just kind of sip his drink.
All right, I think we'll go shoot to Lieutenant Case, who has just arrived at the cargo bay.
Probably should have called for backup. I feel like I'm gonna get killed in here.
All right. When you enter the cargo bay, you find several crates knocked to the ground, and several of the crates contain food stores, and some of the other parts contain engineering parts.
Can I scan for life signs just in this room, or like, will it just pick up a bunch of people?
You could scan. I mean, it looks like empty, but roll me insight security difficulty.
Sorry, difficulty. What did you cut out?
Difficulty 1.
Going off on your own. That's not
Yes.
a recipe for anything. That's how you get medals, though.
Right. You do not detect any life sign.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pull my phaser out just in case, and then I'm gonna go up to investigate one of the knocked over crates.
All right, go ahead and roll me insight and security difficulty 1 again. And you technically pass. I just have to change up some of this info because of the complication.
No, is there a complication range?
No, but you rolled a 20, which is a complication anyway.
Yeah, I see.
You know what? I'm going to bank the threat for later.
No, thank God.
And then I sent you the info you gathered.
All right. Can I investigate the door to see how they got in? Maybe they left some sort of signature or used a...
You know what? Roll me reason security. I'm going to make this a difficulty 2.
All right. Oh, shoot, I did forget about bold security. It worked anyway, at least.
I would give you that information, however, you do not have momentum to learn it. It is a good
Yes.
thought, however.
Can I roll like another insight security just to see if there's anything more I can learn from this?
That is all you could learn for now.
In that case,
Let me double check that though. Yeah, that's all you can learn for now.
Okay. In that case, I'll head back to see the on-duty security up.
All right. During this time, the lights have returned. The problem in the promenade was fixed, and the lights have turned back.
All right. He'll put his phaser and flashlight away.
The power in the outer rings were not affected, so you were actually operating in light.
Ah, good to know.
However, the people on the promenade and at the bar now are in light.
The darkness. I look over at the lieutenant as he makes his way up to the bar, or as he drinks some of the drink that she gave him, rather. So, Lieutenant, she says, I'm Webkey. She puts her hand out to shake his hand.
I'm sorry, are you referring to DeGrasse or Omox?
Yes, DeGrasse. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, DeGrasse is going to look at her and extend his hand as well and shake her hands. DeGrasse, pleasure to officially meet you.
She smiles
Especially
at him.
off the job, too.
She smiles at him pleasantly. Her hand's incredibly soft. She says, sorry I didn't give you a heads up on the whiskey. She says, but you're probably feeling it. It's probably hitting you kind of hard. I hear it's very strong.
And DeGrasse is going to put on a brave face. Internally, he is definitely feeling it, and his stomach it feels like it's on fire right now. So he's doing his best to hide it and going to say, it was surprisingly good. I do feel a little lightheaded. Yes.
She smiles at him, trying to hide it all. She says, "So you're from the USS Monarch?"
Yes, I am. Science officer. So he takes another drink of his drink.
She'll glance over at Omox for a second, then look back at him. "I'm going to be stationed on the Monarch," she says, as the ship's counselor.
Welcome aboard. Lovely to have you, with a little bit of sarcasm, and then takes another drink of his drink.
"Well, my pleasure," she says. "Thank you."
Hey, Omox.
Lieutenant.
Did you meet the new ship's counselor yet?
Not officially. Hello, counselor. I was just listening to you.
Webkey, she puts her hand out.
Nice to meet you, Olin Raomax.
Omox, she says, right? Lieutenant Omox?
That's correct.
I'm really silly with names. She shakes his hand. She has an incredibly soft hand, once again. She'll look back over at another lady at the bar. Look at her pink hat for a moment. think what an interesting choice of clothing for a Vulcan.
She, if she's got any idea about fashion, she would notice that it doesn't appear to be replicated. It looks as though it's been tailored.
I do. She's an ex-model.
Oh, cool. Well, she would notice then that it has been tailored and it fits her head perfectly, as though it's been tailored specifically for her. And she's been watching you three talking.
That's a wonderful hat.
He kind of glances up to the rim. "Thank you," she says.
It's within the culture of my race to wear a lot of hats. She says, sadly, I don't really wear a lot of hats. But I find them aesthetically beautiful. She says, that one in particular is very nice. Pink is a nice color. She finishes the Gorn mud as she scoops out the last piece of green stuff. Drops the spoon inside of it like she's had enough of that drink.
One of my better jobs, says, and she kind of adjusts the rim of her hat a little bit to where it sort of is on her head slightly at a tilt.
"So, gentlemen," she says, "you just arrived." She says, "Quick to the bar, huh?" She looks to both of them. Leans her elbows against the back of the bar, kind of standing or sitting there in prowess.
Yes, well. Time to relax.
Oh, go ahead. Well, actually, counselor, I was thinking that might be a little bit bored with the bar. I was wondering if there was a little bit of, and then he leans towards the bar, loud enough for the tenders to hear, a little bit of recreational games to be played here.
"Oh, I thought you were going to ask me to dance." She says,
Oh, I'm not much of a dancer. I'm sorry, counselor. I hear Omox can really cut a rug, though.
she looks over at Omox.
Yeah, sure. I'm down to dance. What kind of music is playing?
Actually, there's not music playing at the moment.
Well,
The logical step would be to request some. Takes another sip of her drink, watching the three.
can I guess I request that to do it. Would I request that to Quark?
Just any of the workers, really.
All right. Can we get some music on, please?
She smiles kind of big. Sounds like the opening to Oklahoma. She smiles big and she steps up and she kind of gives the Degas kind of this look like early bird kind of gets the worm and kind of like looks to Omox and goes to take his hand. She says, "Dance, is this?"
Sure. And Omox takes a hand and leads onto the floor and begins dancing.
Alright, she'll dance with him for, I guess, the rest of the scene. And, you know, it's like junior high kind of dance. You know, puts her hands on your shoulder and kind of just dances with you. So you're in operations. She looks him in the eyes.
Yes, engineering.
Engineering. My father was into engineering. He worked with holographic systems, tactical hologram training, she says, at the academy.
Oh, excellent. My specializations are mostly in warp field dynamics, for the most part, and some computers.
She looks up at the music, and then she looks back at him and smiles. Great! That's great. Are you the chief engineer aboard the ship, or shift
Yes.
lead?
Chief engineer.
Wow, well, it's good to meet one of the fellow senior staff, Omox, says.
Thank you. It's good to meet you as well.
I don't get to dance often. Am I doing this right? She says that she has her hands on his shoulders.
I believe so. I'm not the most proficient dancer either, but I just enjoy it.
Is his eyes dark like that? Does he look like he's Betazoid?
Uh,
I don't know if he's Betazoid or not. I was
No.
just looking at his eyes.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. He's supposed to be played his way. Yeah.
Okay, so then I would notice with his eyes then. I'm just checking to see if I'd notice.
Yeah, we're gonna go cut back to Casey really quick.
Lieutenant, I investigated that cargo bay. He hands over his phaser and other security equipment.
What did you find out?
Well, it seems that most of the containers in that room are supplies bound for Cardassia, and what was missing were several food crates and part containers, although I'm sure you knew where all that cargo was heading. The most interesting thing I found was that station command codes were used to enter the cargo bay. I'm not sure how command codes are issued on this station, but it might help you figure out who accessed the cargo bay, or perhaps who they got the codes from at least.
Station command codes were used.
To the
Were you
best of
able to locate the cargo?
I was not. I just returned here with my findings. I've had no other clues to go off of other than these codes, which I was hoping you might be able to help me.
I think I could give you access to our computer database, and maybe you could start tracking.
And that would be very helpful, Lieutenant.
And he points to a computer terminal on the wall in the.
Yeah, so Casey will access that and try to narrow down the specific code that was used and who it belongs to, if it belongs to anyone, or who would have access to that.
All right, roll me. Let's go reason security. Let's make this a difficulty.
Difficulty what, sorry?
2.
2? Sure. I'm going to spend threat so I can use bold security, or generate.
All right.
And I'm going to re-roll that 1
Okay.
for 0.
And you bank a momentum.
Is there anything I can roll to find out if there's any way to see who removed the code from the system?
Probably not a who.
Am I able to like at least find out like how it was sort of removed?
Uh, no, it appears that they covered their tracks really well.
Okay. So I'll report this to the lieutenant. It seems that the code that was used to access the cargo bay has been completely erased from the station's computer core. It was used 5 hours ago and 1 hour ago, but sometime in the last hour it must have been deleted.
Do you have any idea where that code was used?
Well, how long ago was the break-in at the cargo?
It was reported about 4.5 hours ago.
All right, then I'll check the computer to see if I can find where it was used 1 hour. Will that also be a reason security?
I will give you that information for the momentum.
Sure.
So for like obtain information, basically,
Right.
because you could always ask questions about the info I give.
I will do that. I motion for the lieutenant to come over to the computer terminal. I found
What did you find, Lieutenant?
it seems that the codes were used 1 hour ago at docking clamp 8. Is there any ship currently docked at docking clamp?
And he types into his computer. There's nothing scheduled to be there, but it looks like as though there is a ship that is docked there right.
In that case, I think it would be best I investigate that. However, there's a good chance that I might encounter someone on this. Would you be able to spare an extra security officer?
I can't spare anyone from my crew because we're stretched thin as it is. Perhaps someone from your ship might be able to assist.
Sure. Can I activate one of our crew support for this? Or should I just page it? I guess I can page another player if anyone wants to get in on the...
But I'm going to kick off something right now. So this is for everyone that is currently on the promenade level, which is yourself, Casey, and then all the people in Quarks. A large explosion is heard, and it rings out across the entire promenade. Every light on the promenade has gone dark, and only emergency lighting remains. Several people that were close to the explosion are injured, and blackened pieces of the facade are now lying in pieces in the walkways.
Casey will grab a flashlight and a phaser from the locker and sprint towards the source of the explosion.
I'll break off the dance and look to the lieutenant and say, join me, please, she says, as she makes her way out there as well.
Commander taps her comm badge. She says, through to Monarch, yellow alert. And she gets up from her seat. As she's walking past Quark as she's leaving, she says to him, 1 crate delivered to the ship, please. And then she exits the bar.
Quark just gives you that smiling nod as you...
DeGrasse is going to take the last swig of his drink and unsteadily follow the commander down to the action.
And Omox follows everyone into the area to see what's going on.
I want to keep my eyes open to see if there's any strange people walking away from the scene rather than focusing on the people that are hurt. I want to visually kind of focus and emotionally focus on my empathy on people that are walking away or, if I catch anything.
Yep, no, everyone seems to be focused on the injured people. Medical staff are starting to pour out to try to help the... but most people are just in shock and, again, like wondering what's going
on. Anda looks over. She says, Casey, secure the perimeter around the explosion. I don't want anyone moving into the area. Omox, find a tricorder. Let's get a scan, see what caused the explosion. DeGrasse, do you have any medical training?
No, unfortunately, not really. My education was very technical and academic.
I do. I can help. She says, Commander.
Tend to the wounded, she says.
Sure, she says right away.
The
She walks off to do that.
the station's medical personnel are tending to the...
All right.
Cool.
Then she won't.
DeGrasse, perhaps assist with the cause of the explosion.
Of course.
And she kind of moves towards where the wall is. Not quite back to the wall, but to where she's not presenting her back to any doorway at all. And she glances around.
Commander, I was working with the chief, or the on-duty security officer at the station here, and we have a lead on a suspicious ship docked at the station. I'd like permission to investigate it. We could get a security team from the ship deployed, or perhaps use ship or station security personnel to cover the scene.
She touches her comm badge. She says, "Through to Monarch." To whichever duty people are on the bridge. She says, "We have a ship docked at," and she looks at Casey. Which docking?
Docking clamp 8, Commander.
Docking clamp 8. I would like an active sensor scan of them at all times. If they attempt to leave, stop them with a tractor beam. She looks at the others and says, "Perhaps we should get ourselves some armaments before we investigate this ship."
Casey has a phaser already.
Casey, please report to the security station. Get a phaser for each of us, and if there are spare tricorders, those too.
Understood, Commander.
All right, we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll start taking care of some of these scans. So we'll go ahead and take care of the engineering scan. I believe Omox and DeGrasse.
Okay.
So this role is going to be a reason or insight with engineering. I'll make it a difficulty 2, and you guys, and we'll have one of you guys make the main role, and then one of you can assist.
Well, if it's reason and engineering, I'd say
Yeah, I'll do
Omox
that.
make the main role.
Okay. And then, I'm sorry, what was the complication?
Just one.
Okay. Is it not working? Hold on. That's weird. When I clicked the button, it didn't do anything this time. Hold on, let me check and see, make sure. Use an engineering. Something's wrong with my page. It's not. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Yeah, I got you as a one success and one.
Okay. Weird. It like did not show
as
up.
As all of a sudden 9,000 rolls.
Yeah, like I was. It like didn't do anything, so I kept clicking it. Sorry.
No worries. So between you and DeGrasse, you guys do succeed at the task. So let me go ahead and give you guys the information you find.
After reading this, DeGrasse is going to look at Omox and say, biological material.
Interesting.
Are you saying the same thing?
Yeah. We need to check that out.
Is there any way for us to try to determine any more about the biological material?
So the biologic material was mostly destroyed in the explosion. So you just got like trace elements.
Okay. Well, I suppose that we should let the commander know. Would you like to do the honors?
Sure. Commander,
Yes.
it seems that there was a power junction on the promenade that exploded to cause the power loss. It looks like components on that junction were corroded away, which caused it to become unstable. And on the power junction near it, we found biological material, trace elements, but we were unable to figure out exactly what those elements were.
Speculation: accident or intentional sabotage?
It's hard to tell right now, but if I had to go with my gut, I would say it seems potentially intentional, perhaps. But that's just a gut feeling.
She touches her comm badge again. She says, "Commander Saru to Captain Pratt."
Yes, Commander Prax here.
Captain, we have a potential criminal element aboard this station. There's been an explosion, and also an unregistered ship is docked. I have the Monarch keeping it on scans. It appears that the station security here is woefully inadept to investigate this matter. I wondered if you wanted us to do that, Captain.
Let me get a hold of operations and see if they require our assistance on the matter.
Yes, Captain.
And Prax is going to hail ops.
And on screen, you see Commander Kira. Yes, Captain.
Captain, my first offer just apprised me of the situation. Do you require additional security teams?
We welcome all the help we can get, Captain. We're spread a little thin here with all the with just the day-to-day operations of the state.
Of course, I'm more than happy to help in this matter.
And she just kind of shakes her head. I miss Odo. This would not have happened if he were still here.
I'm sure you do. It's been quite a while since I've seen the constable.
Any help you can give, Captain, will be greatly appreciated.
Understood. I will begin deploying security teams and have them coordinate with your office.
Thank you very much, Captain. Kira.
And then she's going to order the security teams, which that is actually... There's an opportunity and escalation cost, I think, for that. But it pretty much gives them an advantage. I'm just trying to find where it's at.
Sorry, I'm halfway eating. I'm not too worried about escalation or opportunity cost for them.
Yeah, but yeah, it's essentially just it gives us sort of like an advantage. That's all it does.
Cool.
Okay.
But yeah. Then she'll have engineering teams and medical personnel head over there as well to assist.
All right, cool. Is there anything else you guys would like to do at the power junction?
The commander, she takes her hat, she throws it down the floor like it doesn't matter anymore. She grabs her hair and twists it round one of her wrists, tying it into like a very swift knot. Her posture changes entirely to business. She says, Degress and Omox, we move in twos. Degress and Omox together. Dae and Casey, you're also together. We're going to investigate that ship. We'll head by the security office, so each of us are armed.
Understood, Commander.
Understood.
Understood.
She'll do that.
All right, so how are you guys moving through the station?
Miri will have point. I'll have Omox and Degress in the middle. Casey and Dae at the rear.
All right, one more time. Who's where?
myself on point, Omox and DeGrasse in the middle, Casey and Dae at the rear.
All right, perfect. So I'm assuming there's a little bit of space between you guys.
Yep.
All right, cool. So as you guys are making your way through the outer ring to the docking bay, I'm going to spend 3 threat here. And I'm going to head. So as you guys are reaching like an intersection, like a not an intersection, but like a type of bulkhead, another power junction blows out right between the front 3 and the back 2, effectively cutting off the back 2 from the group. So as the explosion comes, there's like a fire in the middle. The bulkheads collapse around.
Is there an alternate route, or can we take Jeffries to?
Saru kind of glances behind her. She kind of clicks her teeth a bit. Says, someone doesn't want us getting to that ship. She touches her comm badge again. She says, Commander Saru to the Monarch. She waits for whoever's on the bridge to answer. She says, I have 4 to transport to the docking pylon, and she gives the location of the pylon of the ship, to beam us to where the docking pylon is. And see if they can do it.
I will let you get the transport if you spend a crew.
Yep.
Do you want the NPC or the supporting character to roll that?
No, just suspend is good for me. Hold on, let me run to the bathroom really quick.
I don't want to get blown up today.
I've been on this investigation since the start. I gotta be there.
You'll be there. You're going to transport in with the rest of us.
The old site-to-site transport. It works when it does, and doesn't work when it doesn't. Whichever way the writers felt.
I know, right?
They wanted it.
All right, I'm back. Let me just find the transport. All right, so you guys get to the docking bay. Basically, we'll just use this. And on the ground, you find sick Bajorans. You find Bajorans lying on the ground. They all appear to be like grasping their stomachs. There's vomit spewed around them. You see bits and pieces of the food on the ground. And you guys find the rest of the cargo, both inside of the docking bay and kind of like in the docking clamp to the ship. Like they were loading the ship with this.
She looks over at Casey. She says, check them for weapons. And she
Understood.
steps into the area.
Casey will do that. Is that a roll?
Nope.
Commander, these people are unarmed.
Okay, she says. She kind of glances at them for a moment, and then she just walks on past towards wherever the ship's docked.
And the ship is not very big. It's just like a small cargo ship, maybe a scale 2 at most.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you find a lot of these stolen car. You find some of the stolen cargo in. But it's a pretty basic design. Like a
Yeah.
just there's a small cargo bay, a little bridge, minimum shieldings, minimum weapons.
Was there anyone in the ship, or was it pretty much everyone in the docking bay?
Just let's call it 4 people in the docking bay.
Okay. She looks to her officers and says, right, round them up.
Are they like able to walk, or do we have to like drag them?
They're all on the ground, like grasping their stomachs. Some of them are actively vomiting still. A lot of moaning. Some cries for help.
We may want to wear like some kind of bio protection before we touch them.
Can I do like an emergency medical treatment?
If you want to attempt it, sure.
In that case, I will.
So what exactly are you trying to do with the medical?
I'm just trying to like alleviate their sickness enough that we can talk to them, or at least one of them.
Oh, you actually do. You actually do have a medical skill. Okay, that changes.
I have medicine 3 and emergency medicine skill, and there might be like a medical kit nearby that I could use. I don't know.
I'll give you a roll. I'll make it a difficulty 3 roll. Medicine and since you're trying this without the proper tools, I'll make it a daring med.
Difficulty 2, you said, right?
3.
3? How much threat are we at?
I have 12 at the moment.
Hmm.
No momentum.
In that case, I'm just gonna take my chance.
And actually, you could have used the focus emergency medicine, so that's actually is 3 successes.
Perfect.
So you're able to kind of ease their symptoms a little bit. Using just some medical know-how of body positions and stuff like that.
Breathe.
Am I able to see what's wrong with them from a distance medically?
What's your medicine?
My medicine score is 4. My insight is 11.
Let's go insight medicine. And you're just trying to diagnose them. Let's go at difficulty 2.
Okay, cool. Our body and mind alike must be healthy. Does that help with a value?
Sure, why not?
Okay, cool. I wanna use that as a determination and get the automatic. And then I'll roll that right there, which is 2 plus 2.
All right, so that's 4 successes total. So you get 2 momentum out of that.
So can we question the one I treated?
Yep. Once I decides what to do with the information I gave, then yay.
She kind of takes a step up. She seems a little less afraid of it all. She says it could be food poisoning, perhaps, Commander. She says it doesn't look like there's. It looks like maybe something they ate, perhaps. Of course, this is a guess. She says without a tricorder. She says.
She nods at that. She says, "Contact station medical. We'll get some medics up here."
I alert them, giving them my authorization code to make sure they know who I am, because I haven't really reported for duty yet. I just give them an operation code. Say that I'm a counselor and we need medical people.
Yep, they acknowledge and are sending.
Are any of them dressed differently? Do they have like civilian clothes on, or?
It's Bajoran civilian clothes. They're all Bajoran.
Can I roll to like loot them or search them or anything?
Do they have any gold? Where's the silver? Where's the latinum?
That's gonna be my thing.
He's got to pay for the drink, right?
Yeah, that's what
Casey-
I'm gonna do.
Casey already did that. They have nothing. Nothing of note.
Okay.
Saru kind of goes over to one of them, preferably one who isn't being sick. She squats down next to that one and looks at them and says, "Why are you stealing food?"
Because they're going to our enemy.
"Your enemy," she says, and raises an eyebrow. "I can make this easier for you, enemy."
Pay close attention to her psychoanalysis.
Surely you must know where this cargo is heading. We cannot let it go there.
"Why don't you enlighten me? I'm just a tourist here," she says.
We cannot let the Federation help the Cardassians after what they did.
"Ah,
Commander, may I interject? Based on ship's logistics records, the cargo that was stolen was relief supplies for Cardassian.
I see. We are no longer at war with Cardassia."
The scars on our planet from the Cardassian occupation, and he tries to hold down some vomit, can still be seen on our planet. This food will be better served the people of Bejor.
"By the looks of it, this food will do nothing except for make whoever eats it ill."
And with that, he vomits on your shoes.
And she doesn't even flinch.
Oh, that's pleasant. She looks down.
"Who do you work for?" she says.
I work for the people of Bejor.
She kind of she leans forward, and despite what vomit may be on him, she doesn't care. She grabs his shirt and he pulls him closer to him to where she's very close, looking at him. "That's not what I asked. You know exactly what I asked. I can make this easier, or I can just hand you over to station security." I just need a little bit of information.
Roll me a presence command.
I would love to.
How aggressively does she grab him by the shirt?
Fairly.
Let's go difficulty 3.
Okay. I will use my espionage, and also I'll use a momentum for an extra dice. Presence command. Boom.
Perfect. The Bajoran resistance will not allow these supplies to reach Cardassia.
Commander, I think you might throw up again.
She glances at the counselor for a second and then back at him. Did you poison the food?
Why would we poison the food we're bringing to Bajor?
An ever so slight grin appears on her face and then it's gone.
Why are you so sick? She says to him.
And just as you say that, you feel a large explosion that shakes the entire station. It is also felt on the ship. It is so large that it almost throws everyone off their feet.
Oh. She, as they're kind of thrown around, she leans forward to push him down onto the floor. And she kind of straddles him a bit. And she keeps him really close. She says, "How many more of you are on the station?"
This is all of us. What are you talking about?
Explain the explosions then.
We had nothing to do with the explosions. We were just stealing the food.
Bajorans could die in these explosions. I would inspire you to be truthful to me.
Can I roll a psychology roll to see if this guy has anything to do with what's happening in explosions, if he's telling the truth or whatnot? Like, if we just randomly picked up some random dudes just, doing something and we got the wrong guys right now?
Insight command. Difficulty, let's make it 3.
Cool. Insight command. I use my psychology. If I can, insight command. And,
What focus did you use?
I used psychology,
Oh, yeah.
diplomacy, persuasion, any of those might work,
Yep.
maybe?
Psychology.
Or just see if he's my guess is that we got the wrong guys and that there's something else going on and we just happened to grab these guys that were up to other stuff, so I just want to confirm that. She says he's telling the truth, Commander. She says, "I think we have the wrong people."
She glances over at the counselor and she just lets him go. Lets go of his shirt. Like she's now disinterested.
And
Hands
you guys
up.
have entered scene 4, so I will take your remaining momentum.
We have a medical kit there?
You do not. But probably around this time, or probably when the medical teams probably got.
Sweet.
Okay.
Before we move to the next scene, all I wanted to do was do like an injection for myself and for Degas. Just for like alcohol, just to get the alcohol out of our system.
Sure.
Commander, permission to go report in again with station security. They might have updated information that could help.
She hands the Bajorans over to the medics. She tells them that they're merely thieves. And then she says, "Yes, we'll report to station security and find out exactly why this station appears to be blowing itself to pieces." Kind of stands up, places her hands at the small of her back, and her demeanor goes back to a very sort of calm demeanor.
Okay, I want to make sure that the medical staff at least runs a scan of us to make sure that we confirm that that's true, that it is like food poisoning and not like, some sort of contagion that we just grabbed and now we're going to take it somewhere else.
It is. Your assessment is correct.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to verify. Due diligence.
All right, so you guys were heading back to the security office.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's somewhere over there. And the lights on the promenade are still out. And in fact, as you guys are passing, you notice that a lot of the power systems on the station are now out as well.
I'll continue to keep my eyes open for anything that's out of the ordinary or motions that are out of the ordinary.
Casey will pull out his flashlight he got from security.
And you guys will enter the security office. And the lieutenant there says, "Please tell me you have something for me."
We caught your thieves, she says. They're currently being treated for poisoning. They seem to be unrelated to the other problem that you're having. Tell me, have you had explosions recently?
It's really just started with that first one in the promenade.
Have you had any power issues recently?
Just what's been starting today. The engineering teams are telling me that one of the reactors might have blown.
She raises an eyebrow.
So is this a maintenance issue? She looks over at his rank. What is the security guy?
He's a full lieutenant.
She says, is this a maintenance issue, Lieutenant?
I couldn't even begin to tell you what's going on.
Would it be prudent to evacuate the station? Of non-essential personnel, at least.
Or at least the promenade.
I think Commander Kira is taking steps to do that now.
Perhaps the Monarch should undock itself in case the station does completely rip itself.
And the Monarch is on yellow alert. I'm sure she'll be fine. What's the location of the other explosions, she says, and looks at this lieutenant.
And he pulls up a little map on his computer that shows the explosion in the promenade, the explosion that you're familiar with, as you were on your way to the docking clamp, and the explosion near the reactor. They have all seemed to happen within the last hour and a half.
She hands it to her chief engineer. She says, can you see a pattern in this? This is your arena.
Yeah, I'll have to do some calculations to see if we can find one. So far, the only thing we know of is the biological material that's an unknown trace element. So, can I do like a tricorders roll to some kind of roll to figure out a pattern for that?
I have a theory, Commander.
She looks over at the counselor.
On my way to this commission, she says I was shortly on the Kismet, the U.S. Kismet. They encountered a certain substance, she says, that exploded. Certain crystal substance. She says perhaps there's some of this substance on the space station. It seems to be some sort of commodity that's been traded, some sort of crystal entity, she says. It's I know it's a wild accusation, she says, but it's something that's happened recent in this region, I think.
Work with the chief engineer, see if there is a correlation between the crystals you encountered and the substance that we found.
And they were biological. She says, we have to access some of the Starfleet's records to determine if there's a match between whatever the crystal entity was and this substance to see if there's a match in any case, she says.
I can get you access to those records.
Okay, she has permission to see that through.
Granted.
She'll look at DeGrasse, because he's a science officer. And says, do you mind, can I take DeGrasse with me?
Please do.
She'll go get on that.
DeGrasse will go with her.
I read fleet reports too.
Commander, permission to go scan the reactor to see if we can identify a pattern compared to the other explosions.
She nods. She says, take Omox with you. Be cautious.
Did you just tell him to take himself with him?
Oh, yeah.
I will take
that. Take yourself with you. I'm sick of you splitting yourself in half, man. Yeah, take Casey with you. In terms of patterns, I'm looking for, if this is deliberate, why? What's the objective?
Understood.
I will follow Omox.
All I want to do is a medical analysis and a science analysis with the science officer to determine if it is related to that issue in the other portion of space or with those other captains we're dealing with. And that's all I really need to do. I don't need to role play part of that.
Yep. Well, we'll stick with the engineer for.
Okay.
Dai, are you staying on the station, going to the ship?
Wherever I gotta get those records at. I figured there's a station that we could man at this. I mean, it's a Federation station, so we can man some sort of station there, science station, and try to get the records and see if we can match up. And
Right, cool. Yeah, I'm just trying to get a gauge of where everyone's at.
yeah, I'll stay on the station. Yeah, and we'll go to medical, and we'll access the records there, and I'll let them know in medical that I'm on orders from Commander Saru from the ship to research that, so they give us permission.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll stick with the engineers. So Omox and whoever's with Omox,
Me.
when you get to the reactor, you notice that the reactor is in pieces, and the explosion was powerful enough to cause a rather large hull breach, but emergency force fields are holding. But there's debris and charred bulkheads all throughout the section.
Well, if we lose emergency power, we're dead.
Yeah. All right. So is there anything I can do to help get that repaired, or do we call in a team to do that, or what's the requirement to? I mean, I guess we need to scan the reactor, but I mean, do we need to repair that as well?
It's gonna take a lot to repair it. Like it's in shambles.
Okay.
Maybe you investigate the reactor. Is it possible that I could also look at the entrance to this room and see who accessed the room?
Sure, we could probably do something like that. Okay, so for both of you guys, I'm going to let you guys use your insight or reason using engineering or security. If you're scanning the reactor, it's the engineering. If you're scanning the door, it's security.
Okay.
Does focus
difficulty 2, I should say.
Okay. Does focus count as, does observation count as a focus for this?
Probably not.
All right. All right, that's investigation. My bad. How much threat are we at?
12.
Nice.
Is this important enough to risk another threat?
Whatever happened to cautious officers?
Yeah. Well, I'm bold, so yeah, I'll generate another threat.
They're all working in Starfleet libraries.
Right.
You gave me a threat, I take it? Cool.
Yep.
You did gain a momentum.
Commander, we found that in the reactor, on the control rods, a few of them were corroded away, which actually caused the reactor to lose stability and explode. And in and around the reactor, we found larger amounts of the biological material, which is similar to the power junction in the promenade.
She says, contact ops. Let Commander Kira know that the biological agent is the one causing these explosions. Perhaps she can set the station to scan for it, or at least her teams will have an idea of what they're looking for.
Understood. And Omox will do just that.
She acknowledges the report.
Casey's gonna page station security or talk to them on his comm badge. Lieutenant, we've just reached the reactor room, and I've checked the entry logs, and it seems that only station personnel have entered or exited the reactor room. Is it possible that I could get a personnel list of individuals who have access to this room?
And he sends you the list, and it's just like a bunch of station engineers.
Is there any way to sort through them? I guess I have to think of that myself.
I mean, like basically, the names he's given to you are people with the clearance levels to be working around the reactor, have the appropriate training and skills required to repair and maintain these reactors. If that helps.
About how many names are on it?
20, 25. It's a list.
Cool. I'm also going to, or Casey's also going to send the list to Commander Tsuru, so that she has the information. That is everyone that the station knows of that has access to the reactor that exploded.
The commander will also send a message to the Monarch. She wants a security team posted at the airlock. They're to scan for anyone, including our crew, entering or leaving the ship, and any traces for that biological substance. I don't want that stuff on my ship.
I'm going to spend 3 threat. All right, so you guys are still in the reactor rooms. What are you guys doing anything else?
I can't think of anything right now.
I can't think of anything.
Prax to Commander Saru.
Through here.
Commander, I need you to double time it to ops. We've lost communications to operations on Deep Space Nine. It appears that several power relays have blown out.
Acknowledged. On our way. And off we go.
Everybody?
Yeah, I won't spend too much time on that scientific medical thing. I just wanted to double check, and
Yeah.
we'll join them too. I don't want to stay away from the group.
She'll come the
DeGrasse
team.
is going to pull Day over just for a second and say, Commander, maybe it's just my paranoia, but did you get any feelings about the security officer on board DS9?
Feelings? She looks over.
Can't quite put my finger on it, but I don't know. This many explosions happening on the station, and
I read
I don't
about
know.
the loss of your captain recently. You think this could be related to that? The terrorist incident?
You mean the explosions on Deep Space Nine?
Yes, with the kidnapping of your captain.
I don't know if I would go that far.
Do you think
But-
that the commander could be involved?
I don't know if I would go that far.
Look,
I wanted to ask.
Look, Lieutenant, it is important, she says, that you are very clear about these things, especially if you say statements like that, because they can be misconstrued as accusations, she says, towards an officer. She says, but having said that, she says, if you have a feeling, she says, I am a counselor, she says, feel free to express yourself. She says, what is bothering you exactly?
Nothing, man. You're right. I shouldn't stray towards leveling accusations without more information.
She says, feel free to come to me, though. She says, if your gut tells you something, okay? You can come to me with confidence. I am a counselor, she says. But it's very differently taken. She says, if you take it to another officer, you should keep that in mind.
Of course, man. And DeGrasse straightens up and drops the subject.
Okay. She will gauge his feelings. I want to know what his feelings are. Through that whole thing.
DeGrasse?
Yeah.
Do we have to roll for that?
Only if you make me.
I'll
Oh wait, no,
oppose that.
he's a trill, so no, I can't feel those emotions. Nice. I didn't even think about that. I can't feel his emotions.
Huh.
Sorry. Yeah, trill are a no-go for, I think, my race.
Gotcha.
Cool.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, we'll join them with expedited swiftness.
All right, so everyone gets up to ops, and again you see the telltale signs of an exploded power relay. You know, the charred pieces of debris scattered throughout. A few people with bumps and bruises on their heads, but they're being tended to. And in the center of ops, with her jacket off, is Commander Kira. And she says, "What the hell is going on in my station?"
Shrew will walk over to her. The parts of ops that exploded, were they specific areas?
It was basically in this pit.
Oh, well, they do all the engineering stuff. That makes sense. She walks over to Kira. She says, Commander, you have as much as I know based on my report. It appears to be some kind of biological agent is being used to cause these explosions.
How widespread is this biological agent?
Well, you've had them go off in the outer docking ring, the promenade, and now in ops. I would say you have a serious security problem.
Are you detecting it on any of the working power relays?
She goes over to one of the consoles, and she will use the console to scan the station. Let's see.
All right. This is going to be an insight or reason using engineering or science. Difficulty.
I'm so bad at this. Awesome.
You got it, dude. Science! He was guided by science!
Science!
If she's running a scan or something, then I will, kind of, pat the Goss on the shoulder to, hey, go help her out.
Yeah, he'll hop over there to help out.
Did you need some assistance, Commander?
Oh, I forgot. We should. There's a DS9 sheet that gets an assist on this.
Sweet.
I forgot that was a thing.
Kudos.
Probably computer science or sensor science. Yeah, sensor science. I guess I could roll it.
Yep. She looks over at the other commander. She says, I'm finding evidence of more on the remaining generators. That is a serious problem.
Did they run off of gel packs? Is it something biological with the power systems? She says. She looks over at the Goss, maybe you can add some insight to.
They do appear to be microbial life signs. DeGrasse, if we took main power offline, would that stop explosions? She says and looks at him.
Well, ma'am, I could offer a few thoughts, but your chief engineer, Omox, might be able to help a little more on power relays.
She looks from one to the other. She says, work together on this. Work fast.
I'm going to spend 3 more threat, and the ops computers will read that another power junction has exploded in the outer ring.
Do we know how long DS9 has been under Federation control, per our start date? Just curious where it is in the scope of history.
Yeah, 8 years.
Oh, okay, so they've been there for a while then. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of monkey operation you guys running here? I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, the DS9 has been run by the Federation since DS9 started.
Yeah.
They've officially been in Starfleet for about 3 months, Bajor.
Oh, okay. I'm just
So,
joking.
roughly 3 months.
She looks to her two officers. She says, "Now."
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what are you guys doing?
So it sounds like we need to determine if we can take the main power of the station offline to prevent the explosions without causing further problems with other systems, I would imagine. So, I don't know if there's I mean, since I wouldn't be familiar specifically with DS9, I don't know if I should do a check before that to make sure before I take off power, or if I should just go ahead and proceed with shutting off the power. Excuse me. Is there a way to like scan to see if like there's if it's safe to take off the power first before we do that for other systems?
So, what would you need to look at to see if it's safe to do that?
I mean, I guess what I'm thinking is you know, there was that hole opening, so we have the breach in the hole. So if I just don't want to take off power offline and then the force field go down for that. That's keeping that intact or something.
So, this is definitely a puzzle you guys need to figure out. We're at puzzle stage.
Casey will ask Kira, have all the non-essential personnel and civilians been evacuated from the...
We're evacuating who we can as we speak.
My eyes will kind of get brighter as I look over at the command. They're like, wow, they're evacuating people.
Well, if we limited who was on the station to just people in ops, which probably runs on its own power system because most bridges do at least, that might be a safer course of action.
Mm-hmm. My concern is the remaining generators blowing up and blowing the station to pieces.
Is there a way to remove this biological contaminant, she says, from the base medically, she says? On a mass level? She looks to the scientist. Or is it something that we'll have to clean out, she says, out of each system?
So I think you guys are kind of missing like a point here. Is the biologicals attracted to the actual energy output of the reactors and the power conduits? I think that's a question you guys need to ask first.
I'll run a scan.
Perfect. Insight or reason plus science difficulty.
Okay, as I do it, I go up to the console, and then I kind of thumb at the buttons, and I go, "Gosh, so help me with the scan." She goes, and then she steps aside to let him run the scan.
Yes, ma'am.
Right,
And
so
I'll run the scan.
So it's a difficulty 4 task. So anything you could do to gain advantage, you would want to do it.
Awesome. And you said which attribute and which discipline is it again?
Insight or reason with science.
Awesome. And we have 1 momentum.
Correct.
Okay. Don't really.
So if you have any values you could use, if you have any focuses, if you need to buy dice with a momentum or threat.
I use my value.
So-
Can I make a command presence roll to kind of psychologically pump him up, like, you got this.
You'll probably get an assist with your highest, whatever's higher in your sign.
Okay.
Maybe medicine. Maybe medicine.
Yeah. My command's 5 and my medicine's 4, so whatever you think.
Well, probably insider reason and
Okay, cool. I'll use my psychology to kind of try to help out.
yeah,
So
I'll
what
give
is
you an
the-
assist, and I'll let the station assist with sensor.
Sweet. Okay.
What is
Awesome.
the mission directive? Out of curiosity.
Probably at this point, not to blow up the station.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could use his determination on the mission objective.
Yep.
You can do this,
Okay.
Lieutenant. You can do this. She says, I believe in you. She looks at him kind of, those positive eyes, in a positive posture.
And you can roll
Thank you,
3
Counselor.
dice. Roll 3 dice with that by giving him the GM 1 threat and spending the 1 momentum.
Okay. So it's 3 dice. And then let's see here.
And that's if you want to spend your determination.
Yeah. No, I think I'm going to. Just have to select a value.
You should probably not let me roll for the station. I'll let you guys re-roll the station.
Cool.
I didn't give anyone access to it, so only GMs have access to it.
That should fix it.
God, Brax, do you want us to fail? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. Oh, there it is, DS9.
I'm going to go for...
I'll roll it.
Yeah. I'll go for... I guess an independent mind is a sharp mind. Don't know anything about biology, necessarily. Studied a little bit in school. But the... guess I'm going to appeal to the openness of my mind and its independence and, curiousness, scientific nature, to sharpen my focus.
Oh, we got this. We already got 3 successes. It's going
Oh,
good.
okay. Well, let's see what happens. GM, is that okay?
So you spent your determination with the value, or with a directive, mission directive, and then you bought 3 dice, and then what?
He just needs to roll.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I
he's,
just need to
he's
roll
actually
boom.
scanning, but you have sensor operations, so
Yes. Yep.
Oh, I didn't
So-
know that applied to... Okay, thought that was only ship scanners. Ooh.
All right. So it was difficulty 4. You're at 6, so you will bank 2 momentum from that roll.
Can we buy that
Wait,
0 away?
wait! Time out! I forgot he had the determination. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're actually at 4 momentum. So yes, you can
spend
use
2 of
the.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, to buy that away.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Actually, he has
So real
bold.
quick-
He can re-roll that. He has bold, so and he was 1 momentum, 1 threat, so he can
I
actually re-roll
did.
that real quick.
Yeah, throw a die out there. Bam.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. So real quick, like, if it's a determination spent on a mission objective, you don't have to
Nice.
appeal to a value or anything?
Right, because the mission directive is the value essentially.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So we have to discover that in the game. If we can discover the mission value, then we can actually...
I mean, there's always a directive, but it might
Right.
change. To the. But like the big mission directives are prime directive, things like that.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, Lieutenant.
Generally what's going on might be said in the captain's log, so that might say it's a directive as well. So it pays to pay attention sometimes to that stuff. It wasn't in this one, but
That to gosh, 8 successes.
It's 10 actually.
Like a champ.
I crush it. Okay. Commander
So-
Saru,
Report.
from what I'm able to tell, the microbes they appear to be microbes, but they also look to be feeding on the power generated from the reactors. They seem to emit a type of corrosive substance that looks like it causes micro breaches in the power generators, and it exposes the raw power inside, thus causing the explosion.
I see.
Question number 1. How can we remove them? Unless
And
he
what-
asks.
Well,
Is it group questions or does he ask the question?
and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to scene 5, and we're going to start the scientific method to answer that very question.
Sweet.
nice.
So my question, the first, is so before you guys can even figure out how to start with the scientific method, I have to ask the question: what caused this? That is the first question to answer.
Probably came on a ship.
So, can we ask the questions of where these microbes might have originated from? Because I think the Goss has Studious from the roll earlier. Like, is there a known location that these have? Well, I guess what I'm saying is these microbes. Are they in actually the Federation database?
So they're not in the database. However, with everything that I've given you guys thus far, I think you guys can piece it together. So with the cause, we'll kind of do like a mini scientific method. So, everyone kind of state, so you guys can kind of state out like where you think what the cause was, and it might be correct, it might not. So we'll do that first.
So we're specifically trying to figure out or trying to answer what caused the microbes to come on board.
Right.
Correct.
That's the first question, and you have to unlock that question before you could actually figure out how to deal with them.
Gotcha.
So we need
so-
another roll then?
All the information is given to you thus far. So if I gave you any information, post it in chat, talk amongst yourselves. It's scientific method time, so there's no restrictions on location.
There was the poison food. Maybe they're like omnivores and that they eat biomaterial and
Well-
also energy, and they
Yeah, that was
I-
my guess too.
Well, the thing is, though, like, so they feed off energy, so they wouldn't exactly feed off the food, but what if the food was actually spoiled, and the microbes attached themselves to the actual containers, and they lost containment, and they got on the actual station that way.
You mean got on the station via the
On through the
already spoiled food?
Yeah, because that food would have been, it's just being stored here. It came from somewhere else.
Sure.
So those containers, I know we didn't get to ask all the questions about that, but the containers had a power source to them, like in terms to keep, so like when you transport like fruit and vegetables, I mean, it's literally, they're refrigerated during the transit. So same thing would kind of apply in here in a way. Those containers would actually keep the food at a lower temperature to keep it from spoiling.
Yeah,
so
and I guess they
so,
could've-
I mean, then when they moved it, they something got shaken up, and then when it spoiled, and that happened.
well, when they stole it, they might have deactivated the
Mhm.
somehow.
Well, I don't think the microbes were attached to the food. I think they were attached to the
Yeah.
power conduits in the containers.
Yeah,
And then
like
that's
they
what
just
caused the
kinda
food to
spread.
spoil afterwards. Yeah, makes sense.
Making the Bajorans sick.
Commander or Captain Prax, you are 100% correct.
Woo!
So we patch him in on that, and our captain is like, "Hey, look, Stooges,
It was open.
it's this." Okay. Hey, look, guys.
It was open to the floor, so
Okay, no,
Captain doesn't really know that.
No, I'm just saying. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the captain calling and Picarding us and telling us, what we need to do. Thanks, Captain.
Okay, so now, how do you deal with them? So the first question is, do you guys know how scientific method works?
No.
Not
Sorry.
really.
No, I'm sorry.
in real life, or
Okay, so
Science stuff.
so the scientific method in the book is the one we're using. If you have the book, it is on page 157.
Core book?
It's yeah, in the core.
Cool.
Okay, so how this works is you guys are going to figure out what discipline to use, and in this case, it's probably going to be science. Although you guys could probably sell me on something else if you think it could be something else. And then you're going to pick a person that is going to be the research lead. So if it's, for example, science, it's going to be the person with the high science score. And the person that's going to be the lead on this, so what's going to happen is you guys are going to talk amongst yourselves to see if you guys can think of possible solutions to this problem. Generally, it's based around focuses, but I've been kind of lax on basing it around focuses. So basically, it's like I think this might be able to fix the problem. And then the research lead is going to pick between 3 and 5 of them. And once the lead presents those solutions, I will either pick one to be the correct response. I might pick one to be outside the box, or it would be like nonsense and not used. If none of them match the criteria for the solution, I will bank a threat and I'll say try again. Does that kind of make sense in this first part?
yep.
So basically, you guys are basically, you're sitting in the conference room trying to figure out the solution to the problem. In the very Star Trekiest of ways.
So is it a roll, or do we talk it out? We hash it out role playing.
Whichever you guys want.
Okay.
It could be done role play. It could be done just you guys talking it through with everybody. It is open to everybody, however. So, again, there's no limit on where you're at because it's a group thing.
Right. So then I'll look over to the commander. So we turn the main power off then, right? Just this?
Right.
And then what comes next? She looks around.
We lure them with bait. Give them what they want, perhaps into some kind of mobile device. Have that mobile device leave the station, taking the microbes with it, she says.
Yeah, we could rig a large mobile generator or something, she says, to collect the...
Well, they came
Stuff.
here on food crates in Cargo Bay D, so what if we shut off main power and activated a power source in Cargo Bay D? They might remember how to get back there and, attach themselves. We could even, use the same containers.
Do we know if they're mobile necessarily? I mean, this is under the assumption that we can, rig baits and they would move to the baits rather than just send out spores or something like that.
The good question
and
is...
just happen upon a power source.
Could they be sentient? She looks over at the commander. Kind of rolls her eyes like, I've seen weirder things.
She says, even if they are, the station exploding is my priority.
We should probably try to at least contact them telepathically. She's a sincere Vulcan. And I could do that empathetically, since I'm a beta set. She says, it would only take a moment, she says, Commander.
You can try and contact them empathically if you wish, he says.
Well, it would be much more proficient, she says, to try to contact them telepathically.
You guys are actually, this is pretty much, it's non-RP mode right now. I know you guys are like in RP mode, but
Sure.
essentially it's just we're coming up with a list of ideas,
Mhm.
and then we tell the GM these list of ideas, like which one we want to attempt, and then he'll either tell us to go fish and takes a threat, and we try again.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's how this
So
works.
So what are the 10 successes bias? I'm just curious.
What's that?
So what are the 10 successes bias? Because Degas was like spanking the ass of this problem with his 10 successes. What does that do for us? That just opens up the scientific.
That just gives you a bunch of momentum for the final.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well,
Thanks.
then Saru will submit her theory about a bait and trap. You guys can think of some other stuff.
I will submit
So,
my theory of maybe
one we
communicating
have-
with them just to make sure.
Okay, so one is
Prax?
communicating with them, and one is main power offline and lowering the microbes away.
Mhm.
Yeah. Another one might be decontamination. If they're not sentient, then we can just try to devise a way to
Blow 'em out the airlock.
scrub them out. Yeah.
Shoot 'em out the airlock.
Sour the milk.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah, actually, I think we
Does
should
anybody
submit
know
that one.
Does anybody know the smallest amount of matter that a transporter can lock onto? I'm just curious.
It's a good question.
I'm looking
So-
it up right now to see if I can figure that out. I was just curious
Like-
if that would even be a possible concept.
So we have 3 essentially right now. If we give them those 3, then it kind of narrows it down. Then we can come up with another list of 3.
Okay.
Because it's like between 3 and 5. We don't want to give them, say, too many, because then it's like if it's one of those, we have to try one method, and if we keep trying that, say if we have like 5 listed, and it's one of those,
okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
and if we're
Makes
trying the
more
wrong
sense.
one, we're gonna fail after so
So-
many attempts.
I was under the impression that we submitted 3, and then he told us which one was correct, essentially. And then we had
How this works is you guys submit 3, and all I tell you is one of them is correct. I don't tell you which one.
Okay, makes
Or-
sense.
Or like you'll like yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Like you could have like all 3 of them could be correct, and I would just say one of them's correct. So in the second part of this, since we're almost there, is I will assign a difficulty to this task, and again, I don't tell you what the difficulty is. And then you guys have to roll, and anyone that has at least a 2 in whatever stat we use. So if it's science, if you have a 2 in science, you get to roll. And if you guys get the number of successes, then I tell you the outcome. But if you don't get the number of successes, you would have to keep going again.
Well, my theory is just sort of the enhanced or like more in-depth version of the Saru's theory. Try and recreate the exact conditions that they were like released in, so we can like recapture them in crates, and then we would have an opportunity to communicate with them or move them to a scientific lab so they can be studied.
Right, so Saru can
So
try to
that's
contact.
the main power offline and lure microbes elsewhere. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
dumbing it down, we can then flavor it RP-wise however you want. So, on how we
Okay.
as long as the premise is the same, we could potentially do stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
communicating with them, potentially lure them elsewhere, and then the third one is either decontamination. I believe that's the one that.
Yeah, that's the one that
Mm.
DeGrasse came up with. I did.
My other idea
Yeah.
was essentially sour the milk and reverse the polarity of the main reactor and get them to stop feeding. But
I don't know. I might consider that the same thing, kind of. Maybe just a different method of, decontamination.
Yeah,
You're
it
essentially
is.
poisoning them to either kill them or get them to go away.
Hey, my
So, yeah.
conscience is clear. I mentioned the sentient life. I'll go with whatever the commander wants to go with.
So I mean, well, there's three. We'll just do decontamination, communicating with them, and then essentially
Mhm.
lure the microbes elsewhere. So those are, I guess, our three that we're going with at the beginning. We're all in
Yep.
agreement.
I
Yep.
agree.
Okay, so research lead, explain to me the option.
We haven't picked one, so
I thought it was
this sounds
Josh.
like no matter what it's going to be, is going to be at least those two, and then at least two of them is going to be an engineering type deal.
Okay. I'm
I
cool
mean,
with
that's just the
engineering.
way I see it.
Yeah, I'm cool with engineering. So whoever has the highest engineering gets the dubious task of explaining to the GM how these tasks would work.
Omox, that might be you.
Yeah, that's probably me.
So get
Alright.
your best techno babble going.
Alright. So let's see. So I'm just explaining.
So you're explaining to me the three options and like what exactly you're doing essentially.
Okay. Um.
And since this is your first time, you can seek help from the other people.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna need help because I'll be honest. I was listening to that, but I was also reading something about transporter, something about the transporter while we were talking about through a lot of those. So I apologize for that. All right, so let's see. We're gonna need to let's talk about, I guess, for the first one. What do we want to say, guys?
The
Help
first
me
one
out.
was essentially luring the microbes somewhere else.
Yeah,
right.
so
Okay.
Either
And
set
then
up like a-
and we're capturing them, right? In some kind of other power like generator or something.
we were going to set like a mobile generator that produces like a high output of energy that's of a very obvious and loud signature. Stick it in an airlock, whichever is the nearest airlock. Turn off main power, see if the microbes go. Then if they go, bye bye, out into space they go.
Okay.
That was Saru's idea.
My idea
Okay.
was the same thing, but not shoot them at the airlock, I guess. Casey is not. He's a very traditional.
Okay.
So something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like turning all the lights off and putting a beacon on to see if they go to it. Like a moth to a light.
Well, I guess what I was trying to figure out too, like when I was doing some research, and I apologize for that, but I really was looking up some stuff. I was trying to figure out if there was a way to use I was trying to figure out transporters and figure out if there's a way to add that in where you use somehow because I'm thinking how to lure them, like what's going to lure them to that power source, and so I was thinking if there was any way to lock on the actual microbes and force them if we needed to move them to that source, but that's just one thing I thought of.
Here, microbes.
All right, so GM, I guess what we want to do is we would like to concentrate, basically disable the main power while at the same time setting up some kind of device, a high-powered generator that would produce the max output of power that we would have on the station at that time, since the main power of the systems would be disabled, and then therefore forcing the microbes to detect that energy signature, and then be lured to it, so that in an effort we could essentially capture them in that power field generation device.
All right, cool. So that's one of your options. I need 2 more.
All right, and then I believe basically another option would be very similar, except for trying to release the after we've captured them, to release them through the airlock, to release them out of the space station.
I think that count is the same as the first one as well.
Is it? Okay.
I think the other one was just decontamination.
That was the second one.
Whether that's with
Okay.
like a
Yeah.
counter biological agent.
What
or,
about coaxing them with empathy or telepathy?
Try that.
That could be another way of here, fishy.
Yeah, another way. Yeah, so we could basically use empathy to try to, if they will respond to that, we could try to get them to move to that energy source using that method.
I recommend
Telepathic.
I recommend telepathy from the Vulcan. But secondary, I will do the exactly that empathy if need be.
All right, so basically like that, attempt a telepathic bond or some
Right.
telepathic communication with them. Okay, so then I
Exactly.
just need 1 more.
That's the
And then I think the last one's the decontamination. So we would attempt to what was the method, like what was the intended idea, guys, for decontamination? Like I don't know like how what technology, like how would we
Could like flood the area
Essentially-
with some kind of radiation to kill them off or something.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, that's what I was thinking.
It's either that or use the actual power source that they're feeding off of to
Yeah.
poison them.
Yeah.
This is how wars with troubles happen, dude.
Yeah, I just don't know if would the radiation cause more, like, any more problems. I guess is there a way to maybe reverse some kind of polarity to the power, or do something of that effect where it essentially destroys them, because they can no longer feed off of it, because it's, the power is inverted in some way. I don't know if that's a way to cleanse, but maybe do that.
So something like that.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I believe out of those 3, I believe you have a working one.
Sweet.
So we will move on to the testing phase. So this is where we roll some dice. So Omox is going to be the lead on this. So he would roll. So he would get a normal task roll and can buy more dice and whatnot. Anyone with a engineering score of 2 or more gets to assist him. So I don't know how many exactly that is going to be.
Okay. Everybody with 2 or more?
Yeah.
Sweet. I have 3, so.
Same here.
I have 2.
And so we have 1, 2. So we have 3 assists then?
So it's engineering what, like insight or control or?
Let's go reason. Or, control is probably better for what you guys are doing. All right, so
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Whoever has an engineering score of 2 or more gets to roll 1 dice. Omox gets the normal task roll and can buy dice or whatever he needs to do. So I do not tell you what the difficulty is. However, this will be a timed task, of which you guys have 6 intervals in order to do the correct, what I deem is the correct option.
Mm-hmm.
So I only tell you if you guys are on the right track if you succeed.
It was a control engineering, right?
Yes. So for example, if you guys get like 9 successes or whatever, and I say nothing, you have to decide if maybe you want to try something else or keep on the same one. So Omox chooses which one of these 3 options that you're going to work on. And then you all throw your dice.
Okay.
And then if you guys meet the success while we are working on the correct one, if you get the difficulty, I tell you the outcome. Hopefully that made sense. I'm not sure if it did.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if I have to pick, I would. I mean, I'm gonna lean on what everybody wants as a group, but I would pick. So far I like the decontaminate with radiation or like a power inversion or something, because some of the other ones I like. It's just I don't know how to facilitate getting the microbes to the power source. I don't know. I'm not sure even how to do that. What do you guys think?
Well, I think for the lure approach, one of us would have to leave ops to go like set the.
Yeah.
The rest could be
And I'm
done.
thinking too with the testing, if we need to do like a test first, like if we could isolate, for the decontamination one, maybe if we could isolate like just a section that has the microbes and do a test, with an isolated area to see if that even works with that, that process first maybe, and if it doesn't even work, then just scrap it.
But if we kill, life without doing any sort of investigation first, that's like a prime directive violation.
She'll look at the commander. For a decision. She says, Commander? She says, or did he step
She's
away?
gone.
I'll wait on the commander. Somebody put her in charge. The suspense is building, though. We got this, guys. We're gonna get 1 billion successes.
Cause yeah, if we kill any of them in our testing, then yeah, Starfleet doesn't like that very much. But we could do we could attempt to communicate with them after we've captured them. That's my logic behind that deal.
If this turns out the way I think it'll turn out, or if a couple things happen in this game, I definitely want to have a quick roleplay with the commander at the very tail end of the game.
All right, so what's the decision here?
Lex? You there, Lex?
Yeah,
Back.
just got back. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
okay. So they're looking for you for a decision because you're the commander.
Mhm.
Do we pull the trigger before telepathically establishing, or that these are?
Yes, she's not. She seems unconcerned with contacting microbes. She's
Okay.
more concerned with the station blowing itself to pieces, so she says, "Let's do it."
Okay. I will make note of it, but I will follow her orders, of course.
Wait, but which plan?
I'm going to say the luring plan. Let's try luring. Let's see if they move.
All right, Omox, do you concur?
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do the luring plan. Let's see.
All right.
That'll work.
Let's throw some dice.
Right.
So remember, you only have 6 intervals, which is essentially 3 rolls. You could spend momentum to decrease the amount of the interval takes to maybe buy some more if you need it.
Can we do that with an advantage? We just spend 2 and get that?
Yes.
I may be wrong, Prax, but you know the game better, but isn't that a really good thing to do?
Well, depends. So I would say right now, just do one. Spend one.
Do the first roll?
Do the first roll
Alright.
and see what happens.
Hmm.
Okay.
So I would just spend 1 momentum for Omox because there's 3 assists. So
Okay.
I mean, the total successes can be pretty high with rolling 6 dice essentially.
Okay. I will throw mine out
Alright.
there. Control engineering. I got no focus. There's mine. Yeah, baby, 2.
Can I use 1 momentum? Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
You roll 1 more.
Yep, you need to throw 1 more dice, Omox.
Oops.
So you got 8 successes.
Nothing from the commander, huh?
No, she doesn't have engineering.
Okay. So you set up your portable power generator in one of the cargo bays. I think you guys were alluding to putting it in cargo bay D. You hook it up. You get some wires hooked up to the power system so that the microbes have a place to go. And you guys proceed to turn off all power sources. Everything from main power to secondary power to even emergency power.
Mm-hmm.
You cut everything. Life support, everything is turned off. There's not even a data pad turned on. And you guys flip on the power generator in docking bay D. And you guys start to notice that all of the microbes are following the path of power, the path of least resistance to this power source. And a quick scan of your tricorders does seem to indicate that all of the microbes appear to be in this one power generator. And you guys quickly disconnect it from the rest of the system and have thus isolated the microbes from the rest of DS9.
There we go.
Woo!
And repairs can begin to happen on the rest of the power systems. The only question remains what to do with the microbes.
Then I recommend to the commander that maybe now we could start with the telepathic and empathic process.
Commander, I'd like to recommend moving them to the station's science lab, where they can be studied and controlled.
She glances at the council and then she looks over and says, I agree. Let's make sure the science lab has appropriate biological controls in place so that they can't escape.
Understood, Commander.
All right. And I think with that, I think I am going to call this the end of Deep Space.
Oh, I was just starting to have